Hola everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Roxanne. If it's your first time here, then welcome. Today I want to talk about my 2022 goals. I am already starting to plan for the next year. I think many of us are, obviously, and I have down 10 goals that I would like to keep first and foremost during my year of reading that is about to begin in January. So the first is to read more than 100 books. This has become much easier than ever given the fact that I work one of my library jobs in the children's department of the library, and I read a lot of picture books now that I didn't before, and I do count picture books as a book read. And so it's been a lot. I've also read more than 100 like adult or I guess more regular size, full size books, whether they be middle grade, YA, or adult. But I do also count picture books. So I think this year I'm at almost 200, and there are a lot of picture books that but I actually just really did really well in my reading overall. So I don't think that will be a problem, but I do want to keep it at 100 and not get too overly ambitious. Number 2 is read one YA and one middle grade per month because of the library jobs that I have. One is in a children's department that is for, 0 through 18, and then the other is in a teen department. So typically I get like 6th graders through 12, and I want to be able to just do better readers advisory, and so I have stopped reading YA. Maybe about 2 years ago I stopped really reading YA, and I want to get back to that. There are a lot of titles that obviously I'm familiar with through work and through BookTube, but that I haven't read myself, and I just think that readers advisory is so much more successful when it's a book that I've actually read. Obviously it's not always possible, and that's how you learn to, part of the librarian job. But I would like to just know more. I want to read widely in both YA and middle grade, and that's also how I'll be using my library as well, because I don't intend to probably buy most of them except the ones that I love. But yeah, so I'll be getting YA and middle grade at least one per month from the library. Number 3 is one that I always have, which is to read mostly women authors. Number 4, and I think I'm always pretty successful at that. Number 4 is read all of the books on my physical shelf. That's also a yearly goal of mine. I did the best that I've ever done on that this year. I think I was left with like 30 something books for the last month, but that was really good because I started with almost 100. So I think I did really well in either reading them or just realizing that I was not going to and unhauling them. I think so far going into the next year, I haven't really bought any books or anything recently for myself. So going into the next year, I think I have maybe about 40 or 45, and that is counting some of the books that I know I'm not going to be able to get to in the last month of 2021, and that will have to go over into 2022. So that's not bad. That is the best start I've gotten ever in my physical TBR. Number 5 is to continue to read diversely, and that I don't really kind of want to define that further than that. I think I'm doing better every year at sort of recognizing my failings and actively choosing certain identities that I want to learn more about and read more about. I'm still very, very, very much not at the level that I want to be at, but it's something that I'm always very conscious of and actively working to better. And so I don't want to like punish myself or anything like that by sort of defining it more than that, and just kind of having that expectation of myself to continue to read more diversely across all kinds of different identities. Number 6 is to read more translated fiction. I think this year I maybe have only read one translated work. This also goes to reading diversely. It means also reading from other areas of the world that don't get as much attention as American fiction does, or even just like first world reading. So I want to do better in that as well. Number 7 is to buy used. I have been doing really good at sort of keeping a good pace with buying books, not really overdoing it, sort of holding down and controlling the temptation and the urge to buy books. But if I do want to buy some books, I do love to go to my closest used bookstore, and so that way I'm just saving money even if I am going to make the decision to buy more. Number 8 is to upload consistently. This is another one that I have every year. This year I think I did better. In 2020 I barely uploaded. So this year I did either 1 or 2 videos. Most weeks, there were some weeks that I just couldn't because either I was too busy or for whatever reason. Lately, I think this past week I didn't upload them because I just had no internet in my house. So it's not that I didn't want to, or it's more that I couldn't, but I do want to keep, if I could do 2 videos a week, that would be the best, but if not, at least 1 video a week. Number 9 is to highlight children's literature. I think I've started to do that a lot, especially given the jobs that I have, but I do want to continue to talk about children's literature. I have a video about some recent picture books that I read. I have a reading vlog about 2 middle grade fantasy books, first in a series that I read, and I just want to be able to continue to do that because I think it's incredibly important. Jason Reynolds did an interview that everybody's been talking about, I think on the late night show or whatever, with Stephen Colbert, where he talks about there is no other literature without children's literature, because that is how you create the readership and start to help develop the authors that become these popular and amazing adult writers, you know. And kids literature is so important. Literacy can begin that way, and you help with socialization and learning concepts, and just children's lit is so magnificently important, and I don't think that we recognize that enough, and so I just want to be able to continue to highlight that through my work and through the things that I post and talk about here. And then 10 is to read more Latinx. That's just my personal I guess besides woman, my sort of number 2 identity that I'm so close to, and that sort of speaks to so much of who I am. And so just because of that, I want to continue to read more, and yeah, so that is a goal that I have. I have some pretty good ones on my TBR already, and I want to add more to that as well. And so yeah, those are the 10 major goals that I have for this upcoming year. Let me know what your reading goals are going to be like, how many books you think you'll read this year. As always, thank you for watching and for listening. I love you all very, very much.